Well, hello, my friend, and thank you for joining me as we get to know the Lord better and better every day. So today, I want to tell you about how the Lord is our whispering encourager. Oh, it's something I've been experiencing for years in the Lord. And I picked the idea up from the scripture over in Matthew chapter 10, a wonderful passage where Jesus is saying this. He says, look, what I tell you in the dark, in a whisper, proclaim from the housetops. Well, what does that mean? Well, in a nutshell, in the dark, do you have those dark times? I mean, can we be honest? We all do. Disappointment, discouragement, maybe even depression, anxiety about the future, fear, anxiety, all of those things can be very overwhelming to us. But the good news is the Lord doesn't rebuke us for that. He comes with a gentle whisper of encouragement. And then that which he shares, he wants us to go out and share with others wherever we go, from the housetops, over the internet, forwarding things that bless us, like if this blesses you, please forward it. But he wants us to share the things that he shares with us. It reminds me of 1 Kings 19, where we have a marvelous story of a prophet named Elijah, who in chapter 18 had just had a tremendous victory over 450 prophets of Baal. But then he gets a death threat from the evil Queen Jezebel because of that. And he runs off into the mountains and he is just absolutely overwhelmed in a cave. And when God shows up. But here's what I love about the Lord. The first thing God says is, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" And Elijah says, "Well, Lord, it's just going crazy down there. Israel has forsaken thy covenant and torn down thine altars. They're killing your prophets. And I alone am left. And they seek my life to take it away." Now, none of that was true, but that's how he was feeling. And he was venting it. And this is another thing I love about the Lord. He lets us vent. He let Elijah vent. He let Job vent through most of his book. Most of the Psalms is laments and venting from the psalmist. Jesus was venting in the Garden of Gethsemane, so we know it's not a sin. The Lord loves it when we trust him enough to come and just vent. And then he's so gentle. He's such a whispering encourager to us, because in that 1 King chapter 19 passage, it goes on to tell us that there was a wind and an earthquake and a fire, but the Lord didn't speak that way. It says he spoke in a gentle breeze. Another translation, a still, small voice. I love that about the Lord. As I have been this pastoral and church consultant for over 100 churches here in Southwest Florida the last few years, I've been learning so much about myself, seeing mistakes there, but they're the same mistakes I made before. And my regrets become my dark night of the soul. And there are times the enemy wants to beat me up with those regrets. Oh, my friend, don't let the enemy do that. The voice of God, well, he's a whispering encourager for any dark night you may be experiencing. So until next time, listen for those encouraging whispers of God.